And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at a game called the Faceless. Now, the Faceless has had two very strong reactions from me when I first saw it. First, I looked at this box, and it was like, no. Yeah, I don't know what this is, but it looks evil. I'm still kind of mind-boggled that they thought this was a box that would sell in the stores. There's a certain group of people who are going to love this sort of, picture and everything, but that's not really what this game is about. This game is about a bunch of kids. One kid's been captured by this evil guy, and you're going in to rescue him. Well, that's almost like a Stranger Things type scenario, except Stranger Things kind of says, hey, kids too, and this has no mention of that on the cover. However, when I opened the box and saw that there was magnets and things like that inside, I was much more interested and very excited to give it a whirl. Well, that's kind of two very different first reactions. Let's see how the game makes me react. There are many expansions for the game and ways to play. I'm just going to show you basically the beginning of the game. At the beginning of the game, you're going to have these three figures here, and you can see here these faceless that shows a kid on one side and something evil on the other side. And there's one side, the colored side. When you put these together, you're going to have a magnet that's in each of these, a very strong magnet, and you're going to have it so that the colored side is going to pull the needle of this compass towards it. So you can see right here, the compass will point towards that. As it gets closer to this other colored one, the compass will swirl. You're going to start, this compass is your party. You're going into this world. You're trying to escape from the billy goat here, who is trying to come after you. And he starts next to one of these obstacles. These obstacles are placed here, and there are memory tokens, 8 memory tokens placed face down. What you need to do is to pick up all 8 of those memory tokens to win the game. However, there are certainly ways to lose the game. You can lose the game by the billy goat running into you. So if that ever happens, you lose. If this event deck runs out and you need to draw a card and you can't, you lose. Or if your team hits one of these obstacles while moving, you lose. So the team is always going to be moving in the direction of the compass. So on a player's turn, there's 3 actions they can do. You can refill your hand to 3 cards. If you do that, you pull from the cards over here. You can give a card to somebody else, or you can play a card. When you play a card from your hand, there are yellow, green, blue, purple, and red cards. Each card does something different. The yellow, the green, and the blue cards allow you to move the faceless that matches that. So for example, I might play the yellow card and move the faceless here or here. You can basically move it as far as you want, as long as it doesn't cross one of the other faceless. So I can move it up to here, here, and anywhere in between. When I'm done playing that card, I will then move my party this many spaces where the compass needle points. So 1. So you'll notice after I moved it the first time, now it points a little bit this way. So now I move it here. 2, now it points back this way. 3. Well, that's not good because it looks like I'm trying to go right into the billy goat, so that might not be good. Maybe I'll play this green one later on, and I'll try to move the green one over here to try to move the compass closer to me, but it's a little too far from the compass. You can also play the red one, which lets you basically move the billy goat himself, and so I'm going to want to get him away from me. So when I move the billy goat with the red one, I can move him 1 space in any direction. So let's say I move him this way. I can then rotate him. And you can see now I'm running in the opposite direction. Now when you're doing this, you always have to play the card first, but after that you can then, I can test, so I can do this. See, maybe I want to move the billy goat just like that. So now when I'm done, I'll move the number of spaces it shows in the billy goat card, and oops, I'm running around to get close to him again. So this is kind of dangerous stuff. You are essentially moving these people so that you can try to pull the needle towards you. So let's say, for example, this is here. I might move the blue one here, which will cause the needle to point this way. So I'll move here, and then it moves this direction, which shoots it in on the other side of the board, because the board wraps like that. But it's a really dangerous game that you're playing. When your turn's over, you'll draw the top card of the event deck and add it to one of these rows, and depending on what color, it's possible that you will rotate one of the faceless 180 degrees, which could cause, different things happening with the needle that's being placed here. You can possibly move the faceless towards you, or your party will move the direction of the compass. So it's kind of tricky. Meanwhile, you're playing these cards. Purples are the best. They're the ones that let you move one space in any direction, forgetting your compass. And you will eventually get these memories. When you get a memory, you'll turn it over, and you'll place that memory on the matching spot here on the board. Each memory has a special ability. You can use them to do that special ability, or you can use them to avoid hitting one of these obstacles in the middle, which makes you lose. That's it. You're just going to keep taking turns until one of the 3 losing event happens, or until you get the 8 memories. The book has very specific scenarios that you can play. These scenarios might tell you what children you play with. At the beginning of the game, in a normal game, each player picks which child they're going to use, and they have a special ability that they're going to be able to use over the course of the game. These scenarios will tell you what children to use and where to put the different spots on the board. The game, as I said, also comes with many different expansions. You can play with different forms of Billy Goat, a creepy die that can be rolled, and these are going to make the game more difficult, which tells you how many plays they recommend until you use that. And that's how you play. Now, if possible, I was going to say that I both love and dislike the components for this game. I'm not a fan with how big and giant the box is. There's a lot of wasted space in this box, and this box does not easily fit on shelves. Another thing I don't like about the box is that these figures, which have the magnets in, when you try to put them back in, if you keep the base on it, it won't fit in the box properly. Some of them don't fit in at all. Some of them fit in okay, but it's a lot harder to fit them in, and the fact of the matter is I don't want to have to put the magnet in every time and do that. So I found that to be a little annoying. The card quality is good, so in that case, I'm very happy with the game because it looks great. The artwork is very suitably creepy. As you look at these different pictures here, super creepy stuff. This kid here is hiding because the pig's in there ready to get him. So it's kind of creepy, but not overly creepy at the same time. And the board, again, it's kind of a big board. This piece here sits on top of the board, and I get that they wanted to do a double-sided board for some of the scenarios. But again, it's kind of just takes up too much of a big space for me. The miniatures themselves are excellent miniatures. These are really fantastic. They look terrific. Those are 2 of the miniatures. Here's the other 2. I like how they have the good side, yay, and then here's the other side. So like I said, I'm a mix between liking the components and disliking them, but overall, I'll say I'd rather them be this way than just bad components in general. Again, I want to quick mention the theme, the whole thing. I don't mind the whole, scary thing in the forest, getting the kids and you go in, but that audience is going to be hard to pinpoint. Do I want to play this with kids? It looks kind of scary to play with kids, right? For adults, it's kind of scary, but again, I really think this cover is going to make some people go away. And the whole shape of the box and stuff, it just seems like it has the look that if I was in a store and I saw this product, that'd go, amateurs, and I would move on. I wouldn't really give it a second glance. I hope that's not the case because the game itself is really good. It's definitely a cooperative game. You're trying to work together to move your party, and it's hard as all get out. We found that the best way to beat it is to carefully think. As you're moving, you'll move the different people, and the magnet will swing a different way, and you'll say, oh, maybe we should put the faceless in this direction. And the fact that there's magnetic fields and they're moving your compass is really cool. Now that is coupled with the fact that if you flip over those cards, you have no idea, sometimes just bad stuff will happen. You could just lose this game like that. You need to get some memories to stop yourself from hitting the obstacles. In fact, we found that way more often than not, we use the memories to stop ourselves from hitting obstacles than for their actual special ability. I'd say on the base level, you probably should win if you work together very strongly. But once you start adding this other stuff, it can get really difficult. Adding in different avatars. The special abilities of the kids, you need to know exactly how to use those. They can be pretty handy. The theming of this game is pretty strong, but it comes down to, do you like this puzzly, magnetic nature of the game, plus kind of a random movement, and you need to prepare for that. So the amount of options and the amount of plethora of little expansions and add-ons in here is pretty big. You'll be able to play this a whole lot, but it's going to I think it's going to fit a niche number of people who enjoy it. Now, am I in that niche? I am. I like the idea of the magnets moving around and rotating your party as you go in. I think the theme of this, which is a very Stranger's Thing type theme, I think that's fun too. It's like spooky without adding in the gore and the things like that. But it's almost at odds with how puzzly the game is. It's a very strong puzzle. If we move this magnet here, you'll move there, but then the needle will flip that one, you'll move there. So therefore I should play this card here. And you'll always feel like you don't have enough options because eventually you're going to have to draw cards or something to be able to move. And the first time I beat it, but that's because we were drawing cards after every turn, then we realized, oh, we actually need to, that's an action that you take. So a lot of interesting things going on in the course of this game. There's a lot of back and forth. There's going to be a lot of talk. It has the opportunity with any of these games for an alpha gamer to tell everyone what to do. You kind of play with your cards open in this game, so that's options even more. There's not a lot of hidden information. But if you don't mind it, if you like this full cooperation, I have to say Faceless is one of the most unique games I played this year. It's fascinating. It's different. It has a really cool feel to it. And it's one that I'm putting in the Dice Tower library because I think it's something that you won't find elsewhere. But it definitely is one where I would say don't judge a game by its cover. And it's definitely one I think that's not going to meet. I played this game with several people who did not like it, who either found it too deterministic or too random, which is very weird to have both of those in the same game. But overall, the combination, while not perfect, I think adds something to gaming that I haven't seen before. Dice Tower Judgment approved.